Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, December 14th. So we have the moon moving into this Virgo energy at 3:46 a.m. As you may know, we spent the majority of the waking hours of yesterday with the moon void, of course, moving out of that Leo energy, preparing to shift into this Virgo energy. So we do have a couple of aspects taking place while the moon is still very much void in this Leo energy before we see the shift into Virgo energy. Anytime we're moving out of Leo energy into the Virgo energy, you best believe that we are becoming a little bit more grounded in our thoughts, in our ability to sort through our feelings. The Virgo energy is an earth energy ruled over by Mercury. So we do have a lot of inner processing going on in our mental plane, but we're doing it from a more grounded type of approach, grounded type of perspective. It's going to work very well for us because Virgo energy likes to create order where there's been chaos. And as we've explored over the last couple of days, there's been a lot of chaos going on in our headspace, in our heart space, in attempt to try and get them aligned to kind of release the energies within us that need to be expressed fully before we can clean the slate in our heart, in our head, before we can actually move on and start focusing in on the future. So the Virgo energy is here to provide solutions to some of the problems that we have been brought to our attention in our headspace and in our heart space over the last couple of days. Now, moving into this Virgo energy, please know that we are preparing to have our last quarter moon at 24 degrees in Virgo on the 16th. So this is kind of setting the stage on reflecting back, especially to the new moon in Sag that we just had at the end of November, and kind of helping us process all that has taken place, all that has transpired, all that we've been conflicted about, all we've been confused about since that particular time period. And again, kind of analyze it from a more grounded, more realistic approach, more compartmentalized approach, especially when it comes to our emotions. So we got a lot going on. Now, there are 7 different aspects here today. 4 of them involve the moon. Mercury is going to make a positive interaction with Neptune. I love this for a couple of reasons. First of all, Mercury is the ruler of Virgo energy. We're not quite in this Virgo energy as of yet. However, Mercury is in Capricorn energy right now, the manifester of the zodiac. So what it is that we're thinking, whatever it is that we're speaking, whatever it is that we're writing holds huge amounts of power, especially to be manifested. So we have to be very, very careful. Now, Neptune is in its place of power in Pisces energy, now direct, still in its post-shadow period for a while, but each and every single day we are gaining more and more clarity on what it is that we want to do, what is our mission, what is our purpose, what is our higher self asking of us, what kind of dreams, what kind of visions are we having that are inspiring and invoking an emotion in us that we can go ahead and start kind of processing on how it is that we're going to bring some of these elements to life. So having Mercury make a positive interaction with Neptune is really going to be a powerful time for our higher selves. We are going to have aha moments. We are going to have brilliant ideas. We are going to gain major insight, have major downloads, major visions coming in from the highest point of our higher selves in the crown. And then we get to drop that information into the lower level intellect that Mercury rules over our egoic intellect that adds logic and practicality and strategy to some of these ideas so that we can come up with a framework on what it is that we need to do to actually bring these elements to life. This is a very powerful energy that you will be feeling in your mental plane, but feeling very positive about, especially as we contemplate our long-term dreams and goals. The moon, still in Leo energy, still void, of course, is going to make an awkward interaction with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth and expansion, beliefs, blessings, abundance. He's in his final degrees of Pisces energy. This is why we feel like we're stuck, like we're numbed, like we're overwhelmed, like we're stagnant, if you will. The moon being void doesn't help anything because we're shaky, we're uncertain. But the good news is that this particular moon interacting with Jupiter is going to turn the volume all the way up on whatever it is that we're feeling in order for us to recognize where the fears, the doubts, the insecurities are providing us with an indicator on what it is that we need to focus on in order to improve our situation, what we need to grow through, what we need to open our mind and our heart space up to as far as possibilities go, what it is as far as truth and meaning and purpose goes, what it is that we're now kind of contemplating, what it is that we're trying to make sense of in order for us to move forward. There is a huge intensity, a huge pressure, but it is very short-lived because, again, the moon shifts into Virgo energy at 3:46 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then there's like this relief. Granted, there's a little bit of a weight. There's a lot going on in our mental plane, but we don't feel as much intensity in our emotions, in our heart space. The very first aspect that the moon in Virgo is going to make is a positive one with Pluto. Now, this is great because Pluto's the great transformer. He likes to show us, the darker sides of our experience in order to empower us and inspire us to do better, to take control, to be more of a authority figure on our own lives. What I love about this is that the moon in Virgo is very, very analytical, likes to do a deep dive, especially in the psyche, in order to pluck out the pieces that don't make sense, the confusion, the chaos, in order for us to problem solve and resolve some of these issues. Now, the Plutonian energy likes to do a deep dive in the psyche as well, but also likes to look at the unconscious parts of us, especially where the pain and trauma, the suffering is kind of stored in our lives, and unearth that so that we can kind of integrate that into our awareness, into our experience, and actually boss up and become better because of it. So having the moon in Virgo interact with Pluto, who is in Capricorn energy, this is a down-to-earth, grounded approach of sorting through our thoughts and our feelings and examining what in our unconscious selves is just below the surface of our awareness so that we can kind of pluck it out of the darkness and show it the light so that we can examine it, we can analyze it, we can just pick it apart, dissect it, focus on the details of how it is that it got planted there, what it is that it is meant for enforcing and implementing behavioral patterns and emotional reactions and thoughts. This is a very, very deep energy. But what it's doing is providing a total shift of our heart space, of our head space for the better. It's an empowerment type of energy. And it is very deep, very probing, very analytical, but we need to do that right now in order to dissect what the problem actually is. Because Jupiter is at the very ending degrees of Pisces energy, we just feel like we're in a stagnancy, in a lull, in a semi-depression, if you will. And many of us don't even know what it is that's triggering that for us. So this particular aspect is going to help us do a deep dive to really examine the root cause of why we might be feeling like we're in this funk. The sun is going to get into the boxing ring and square Neptune. So the sun is in Sagittarius, Neptune is in Pisces. We get some fire and water activity here that in the boxing ring is going to try and snuff the other one out. Again, if you add too much fire to water, you're going to burn through those emotions and evaporate your inner spirit, your inner realm energy, your emotional energy. And too much water to fire is going to put the spark out, the passion out, the excitement out, the energy out altogether. And the sun is trying to show us where it is that we need to focus our energies on the future. And in Sag energy, this is about the possibilities of our future. And Neptune is trying to connect us with our higher selves, with the higher intelligence, so that we can grasp a vision and a dream of what it is that we want to do creatively, what we want to do as far as spiritual lessons go, as far as contracts go, as far as healing goes. But this is a boxing ring. So we're going to get in there and we're going to fight it out. And what we're going to find is that there is an overwhelming sense of just wanting to numb and disassociate and not deal with life and not process this and not think about the future and not think about the past. And what this is going to do is create a situation where we're left with a choice. Do we want to drown in the feelings and the shoulda, coulda, wouldas of the past? Do we want to burn ourselves out thinking of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas of the future? Or do we want to ground ourselves in this present moment of the here and now and have an appreciation for all that is transpiring in this moment in our situations here and now without being burnt out from trying to conjure up the future and being overwhelmed and drowning in the emotions of the past. So it is going to feel like a conflict. It is going to feel very, very emotional at times. And it's going to feel like we are essentially being burned out, if you will, because we are. Now, Venus is going to go ahead and semi-square Saturn. This is a little bit of a conflict, but we have some, I guess, good energies happening here because Venus is in Capricorn energy and Saturn rules over Capricorn energy. So what this is going to do is, it's going to create a little bit of a tension point because we're not able to enjoy ourselves the way that we want because we have shit to do. We have roles and responsibilities. We have obligations and commitments that we have to complete before we can go ahead and start diving into the little comforts, the little pleasures of life that, bring us a lot of happiness and a lot of joy. It may feel like we're being robbed of happiness and pleasure and joy right now because of the to-do list that we all seem to have. This is going to be a good lesson in recognizing some of the roles, responsibilities, obligations, and commitments that we've made that we're no longer in alignment with, that do not support a happy, healthy, stable foundation for us to find balance in both finding, happiness and fun and still completing our goals. And from this, we should be recognizing what it is that we've outgrown, what it is that we should not align ourselves and commit to in the future. Saturn being in this Aquarian energy is trying to show us where it is that we feel blocked and restricted in life from doing things that make us happy and bring us joy. And mostly due to the expectations and the obligations that we feel that we have to live up to as far as other people go, and kind of start recognizing where we got to build better boundaries in our lives so that we're not constantly giving our power and energy away to things that don't fill our cups up with happiness and joy, and essentially block us from doing the things that could fill our cups up with happiness and joy. Now, the moon goes ahead and trines, which is a beautiful energy, with Venus very shortly after. And this is a beautiful energy because a trine means that we are in of-like energies. Of course, the moon in Virgo is an earth energy. Venus in Capricorn is an earth energy. So we're very grounded. We're very practical. We're very logical. We're very in the moment of the here and now. We are very much analyzing our thoughts, our feelings, our heart, our head, our to-do list, our happiness, our goals, our discontentment, our instabilities. It sounds like a lot. It may be a lot on the mental plane, but what we're doing here is we're trying to cut away the bullshit, cut away the things that are important. We're trying to really kind of get a good assessment on what it is that is wasting our time and depleting our energy versus what it is that we could be doing to build our energy up and fill our cup up to its fullest. Out of this, we are really going to realize who and what deserves our energy, time, and attention, and who and what does not. Again, making those adjustments, those edits, if you will, as we plan for our future selves. The last aspect that we have here today is the moon and Chiron. They're making a positive aspect. Chiron is the wounded healer. He is retrograde in Aries energy, showing us where it is that we're going through a re-identification of self, a rebranding of self, so to speak, where it is that we have done the work to heal some wounds, but where it is that some wounds are still left to be healed. The moon in Virgo is providing us with a beautiful analytical tool of diving into our psyche, diving into the details of our heart space, of our past experiences, recognizing where these wounds got initiated and accumulated, where it is that we have been making efforts to address them and heal them, and where it is that maybe we need to make more of an effort to do so. Keep in mind that the moon in Virgo is here to provide solutions to our problems, but we have to be aware of our problems first and foremost. Chiron is the wounded healer, meaning that, yes, we are focused on the wounds that we are here to heal in this lifetime, but we also have the wisdom, the knowledge, the resources in order to do just that. So this is a beautiful interaction between the moon and Chiron, which means that emotionally speaking, we are identifying some of the problems. We are processing them from a different set of eyes, a different intellect, if you will. And from that, a huge amount of transformation is taking place through our perception perception and understanding of our wounds, how it is that we accumulated them, and how it is that we are now going to look at them as an asset, as a strength, instead of a weakness and a vulnerability.